Hello there, this is Benny.
And this is Kyle.
And you're listening to The Doctor's Watcher.
The podcast where Doctor Who is watched by me and you are told about it also by me.
And it is listened to by me.
And also by all of you listeners.
And the passive voice is used by us.
And the wonder of how long we can drag this bit out is had by me.
Okay.
I think that might be about it.
So, I recently got back from a family trip to Oregon. Well, for some of us, it was a family trip. For some of us, we live there. But I don't live in Oregon, so I visited my family in Oregon. And that was okay. That was good. Good to see everyone again. It's the first time in quite a long time, quite a few years since we've all been in the same place in the same time in actual 3D meet space. And for the most part, everyone, I think, got along. The part of Oregon that we went to is beautiful, where my folks live. And, yeah. And then at one point we also visited Portland because we were one of my siblings and I were both flying out of Portland, so the day before we arrived a little early so we could visit the Oregon Zoo, which was a magical experience.
Nice. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, highly recommend the Oregon Zoo. I mean, zoos in general tend to be great. I know some people are like, oh, there's just animals in cages. I don't want to look at animals in cages, but zoos do so much good work in terms of like study, research, advocacy, conservation, breeding, things like that. It's in my opinion, it's so important to support zoos, and you get to go see some cute animals.
Yeah, for sure.
In most modern major zoos are very well taken care of by experts who know how to provide enriching and happy lives for them. So, go support your local zoo.
If it's a good zoo, which I think a lot of them are these days, then the enclosures are a lot better than just animals in cages.
Yeah. Yeah, like in Oregon Zoo, for instance, a lot of them have huge spaces to roam, and the keepers will give them new things to check out and play with and eat and explore to keep their minds active. So pretty great stuff. And the animals are super cute, and the keepers are super nice and really good at their jobs and really good at teaching people about animals, and they're doing important work. So,
what was the cutest animal that you saw?
I love the beavers. I love Maple and Filbert, the beavers.
Oh, nice. Maple and Filbert. They
are adorable. I also saw Moshu, the red panda, who was incredibly cute, but it was a 100-degree day up there in Portland, and so the only time I saw the red panda, it was just sort of like zonked out on one of its ledges. I stopped by later and it wasn't there anymore, but I couldn't spot where it was, so maybe it was off doing something else. One of the downsides to having such large enclosures with lots of things for them to do is sometimes it can make it a little hard to see them.
Yeah,
but that's a good thing, because maybe then that means that they have a little privacy and they can then get away from people for a bit. So yeah, for sure. But they've got tons of great animals there, and I love them all.
Nice.
And I bet you, Kyle, what have you been up to?
I've been playing a lot of this video game called Hard Space Shipbreaker.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that you got that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The basic idea is that you are a shipbreaker, which is a person whose job it is to like disassemble and salvage spaceships.
Yeah, so it's like a space junkyard type of thing is my understanding.
Basically, yeah. So, you have to like learn how to safely salvage like different types of reactors and figure out like, the best way to take the ship apart. Try not to like accidentally blow up the fuel tank and, stuff like that.
Sure, yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Yeah, and then like the story, I won't give away too much about the story, but it's basically all about like labor issues and union stuff. So that's fun too.
Yeah, if I remember right, I was reading about it, and you start the game with some sort of like million credit debt that basically has you having sold your soul to this company, or the company having like purchased your life or something.
Yeah,
it's pretty bleak. But it's like actually, intentionally like...
It's actually a $1 billion or $1 billion credit debt. It's like $1.25 billion.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it, and I've only died a few times. I think maybe 2 or 3 times.
Well, I'm sure the company charged you well for cloning you and resurrecting you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, extra 150,000 credits, I think, is the cloning fee.
Shaking my head. That's company property you're destroying there, Kyle, every time you die.
It's true.
And this is in the spirit of the game. It's all very much like kind of tongue-in-cheek, dystopic, in terms of, the company structure and things like that.
So, yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Cool.
I would definitely recommend checking it out if that sounds like something you might be interested in.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well my computer could run it, but I've been kind of meaning to check it out and curious about it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then I had one more thing I had on my list of things to talk about here. I guess my list of 2 things to talk about. One is my trip to Oregon, and the other being our recent reviews, or maybe not so recent, but reviews that we just found. Because we frequently check occasionally, more or less, sometimes check our reviews on Apple Podcasts, but we don't as often or really at all keep an eye on some other sites or other services. So we recently came across 2 reviews on this site called podcastaddict.com. So we wanted to thank TL Big Nerd and Miss T Hayes for their 5-star reviews of The Doctor's Watcher.
Yeah.
And shout out to TL Big Nerd for saying that they enjoy the random tidbits of D&D evaluation of character abilities, because we got you covered there, bud. Plenty of that.
Yeah, so thanks TL Big Nerd, and thanks Miss T Hayes.
Thank you. And if you were hoping to get some reviews in without getting kind of put on the spot here on our show, too bad, because we're just that grateful for the reviews.
It's true.
And please keep leaving us more reviews, folks. We love them. We love to see them, even if you hide them on obscure websites that we've never heard of. Probably the most helpful thing is to put them on Apple Podcasts. But honestly, both of these reviews were so complimentary and so lovely that I don't even mind that they were on podcastaddict.com.
Yeah. I wonder how many other reviews we have out there. Probably a million that we don't know about, but are all 5 stars.
Unlikely. I think probably not.
Well, shall we get down to business?
Yes. Enough sitting on our laurels and looking at past reviews or reviewers, or, people saying that we did a good job in the past, and onward to another 5-star worthy, we hope, episode.
Indeed. This is the 20th episode of Season 3, The Abandoned Planet.
The Abandoned Planet.
And it is the 11th episode of the Daleks Master Plan serial.
The 11th episode of the serial that will not end.
It's true.
But if our math is correct, this may be the penultimate episode of the serial, finally.
Yeah, it may be. We'll see.
I never thought I'd say that about a Dalek serial, because I do quite enjoy Daleks. But as we've discussed, this one's had maybe more than its share of filler. So,
yeah.
But maybe now that we're maybe hopefully wrapping up, plot may get back on track. We'll see.
And just a quick reminder that this is written by Dennis Spooner from an idea by Terry Nation.
Yes. All right, Kyle. As always, I am curious if you could tell me and our listeners, how did you watch it?
So this episode was another reconstruction in the loose cannon production. Yeah. And cool. Yeah, I don't have much more to add.
All right. Thanks, loose cannon.
Thanks, loose cannon.
Thanks as always.
Do you recall from last time we recorded what the Cliff Dangler was?
Kyle, not only do I recall the Cliff Dangler from the last time we recorded, I recall it because I actually watched the episode.
Oh, nice.
So I remember, well, first of all, this was a non-lost episode, so it's something I can watch. And as we were doing it, I was like, this is kind of interesting. I kind of want to see it. And so I watched it. And yeah, it's a pretty fun one. And it ends with the Doctor who has stolen the directional unit, I believe it was called, from the monk's TARDIS, trying to install it into his TARDIS so that he can go recover the, oh shoot, don't tell me I always forget what this thing is called. The Terrasite?
You're just about there.
I always want to say terrarium, and I think it's close to that.
No, yeah, that's like one letter off about.
I know. I can't remember exactly what it is anymore. All right, what is it?
Terranium.
Gosh darn it. All right, so they're installing, or the Doctor is installing this directional unit, and he says either it will work and they'll be able to go to recover the terranium, or they will explode. And as we last saw our heroes, the TARDIS was making some somewhat concerning noises after the Doctor had installed this and turned it on. So will they explode?
I believe
we'll find out.
There was some smoke and camera operator shaking the camera.
Oh no.
And we actually don't immediately resolve the Cliff Dangler.
I was just about to joke that it seems like we will resolve it quickly because we're pretty sure our heroes don't explode. So, okay, interesting. But, well, maybe we start with the Daleks?
Yeah, we start in the Dalek Control Center.
Cool.
The Dalek time machine materializes in the control center, and Mavic Chen steps out, and he tells the Daleks that he did it.
With guile and cunning, I have been able to repossess the terranium.
Good job, Mavic Chen, and no false modesty on this one. There's always that little part of me that's like, okay, this is an actor in yellow face, and the fact that he is like announcing that he used guile and cunning is not my favorite thing about this episode.
Yeah.
Or this serial, really. Because that really plays into stereotypes about Asian people, but all right.
Yeah.
Problematic. Let's keep going.
The Black Dalek is like,
yeah, but is it fucking real this time?
Oh, sick burn.
Chen's like, yeah, dude, I already fucking checked it.
Yeah, I scratched it, and the, hobby store art paint didn't come off of the paper mache this time.
The Daleks send Mavic Chen off to address the remaining members of the Galactic Council.
Cool.
Everyone on the Dalek Master Plan Club who hasn't been killed yet.
Yep.
And after he leaves, one of the Daleks asks the Black Dalek if they can kill him yet.
I like these Daleks. They're very straightforward.
The Black Dalek's not ready to yet, though.
His arrogance and greed have a further use for us.
Nice.
Then we cut back to the TARDIS to go ahead and resolve the Cliff Dangler.
And they all explode.
Yep, end of series.
Thanks for tuning in to The Doctor's Watcher. Our new podcast will be called
The Dalek Watcher.
Why not?
So the resolution is that it turns out that the directional unit from the monk's TARDIS had different energy requirements than the Doctor's TARDIS could provide. So it actually burned itself out as a safety measure to prevent the TARDIS control panel from getting burned out.
Well, I gotta admit, that's probably the least interesting outcome for this particular experiment.
So the Doctor, Steven, and Sarah Kingdom all figure that their only chance now at getting to Kemble and stopping the Daleks is that they need to find either the monk's TARDIS or the Dalek time machine. Of course, we know the Dalek time machine's not there anymore, but they don't know that.
Yeah, and the monk's TARDIS ended up on some sort of frozen planet.
Right, yeah, it's not there anymore either.
Well, good luck, fellas.
They turn the scanner on to see if there are any ancient Egyptians around before they head out of the TARDIS and start looking for either of these. But they discover when they turn the scanner on that they're not in ancient Egypt. It actually looks like they're on Kemble.
Well, that worked.
Yep. So I guess the thing burned itself out after they dematerialized.
You know, I had a strong suspicion our heroes wouldn't get to keep the directional unit. It just didn't seem to mesh with the premise of the show. But alrighty.
The DM's like, nope, that was a single-use item.
Yes.
Either that or maybe it's one of those things where you have to roll every time you use it, and if you roll a 1, then it breaks or whatever.
Yeah.
So the Doctor steps out to take his bearings. Sarah starts complaining about the Doctor and his know-it-all attitude when, he was just as much in the dark as she and Steven were. And Steven's just like,
now he has the gold.
Very good. You're getting to know him quite well.
Yep. We were all thinking it.
Over at the Dalek Master Plan Club conference room, the various council members who are still around are discussing Mavic Chen and how they should probably kick him out of the club as soon as he gets back.
And the Daleks are like, oh, we'll kick him out of the club. We'll kick him out permanently.
Then the Black Dalek arrives with Mavic Chen and basically announces that Mavic Chen's going to address the club. He tells them that the Dalek forces are just about ready to set out to conquer the universe. They're basically just doing their final checks and shit before they give out the orders.
Cool.
And the other council members all wonder why Chen has this information and they didn't, because everybody is supposed to be equal in the Dalek Master Plan Club.
The Dalek's like, well, because we're going to kill you too. Oh, did we say two?
Chen's just like,
So we are all equal partners with the Daleks on this great conquest. Some of us are more equal than others.
That's seriously what he says. Wow. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think that we can safely say that the Daleks don't like any of them more than the others, or probably intend to kill them less than any of the others. And isn't that true equality?
yeah, that's true. We should all strive for the Dalek ideal.
Maybe not.
But he basically thinks that he is more equal than the others because the M of Terranium that he contributed to this project is way more important than all of their contributions combined.
Yeah, which you can tell because we've never heard of any of their contributions before. I mean, they just kind of showed up and I guess joined in some of the cheers, attended some panels.
They basically all start shouting for him to be arrested. and he just laughs and says that they have no power.
Oh, so evil.
There's some sort of scuffle, hard to tell always what happens in the reconstructions.
Yeah.
But during the scuffle, one of the club members gets killed by some sort of ray gun.
Such a shame this is a missing episode.
Yeah.
Always here for seeing aliens getting killed by ray guns.
Chen says that he and the Dalek Supreme, which is like another name for the Black Dalek, they spoke earlier, and he's totally in charge of the club now, and everybody has to do what he says.
Is the Black Dalek there when he says that? Or can we? Maybe it's hard
I'm
to
not
tell
sure,
from
actually, if he was or not.
But, yeah, I'm just curious if the Dalek is like, I did not actually say that.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps you are extrapolating.
Let's talk about this later.
Yeah, exactly.
This podcast is amazing. Amazing. The emissaries from the 7 planets will arrive as arranged, and we will tell them all about this podcast.
Tell your friends.
Write a review and leave it with a 5-star rating. We obey.
We cut to the good ship Stara Kingler.
Yes.
It is sailing through the jungle, and Steven is using the impulse compass that the Doctor gave him several episodes ago to navigate.
Impulse compass. Love it.
He warns Sarah to be careful of the Varga plants, but then the two of them realize that there actually aren't any Varga plants around.
Darn. But also good for our heroes.
Uh-huh.
Well, we like the Varga plants. They're suitably weird.
Sarah starts to wonder if they're actually on Kemble, and before they get too far down this train of thought, they realize that they've lost the Doctor.
The Doctor probably wandered off.
Uh-huh.
And it occurs to me that they might be on Kemble, but maybe not at the right time in Kemble's history.
Oh, that's an interesting thought, yeah.
Because we know that the Daleks brought the Varga plants with them.
Right. Could they be, like, before the Daleks arrived on Kemble or something?
Yeah.
Back in the conference room, Chen is basically still telling the other Dalek Master Plan Club members that he's like co-ruler with the Daleks, and Salation asks,
There remains one question. Where is your co-ruler, the Dalek Supreme?
Okay, so I guess the Dalek wasn't, the Dalek Supreme wasn't in that previous scene.
Yeah, well, I think this is actually the moment that Chen realizes that the Black Dalek's not there.
And he's like, why are the doors all locked?
That's
It's starting
actually
to smell a little strange in here.
exactly what he realizes.
Oh my god.
The exit doors barred. He handles it pretty well, though. He tells the other Master Plan Clubbers that clearly the Daleks can see that he's capable of running the club meeting on his own.
Yeah, that's definitely the conclusion that can be reached from this turn of events.
He starts going over the agenda for this meeting, which is supposed to be all about like the apportioning of the government after the conquest of the galaxy.
That's fun.
But this gets cut short when a few Daleks enter the room and announce that the meeting is over and everybody has to come with them.
Huh. I thought they were just going to kill them all right then and there, but maybe we can hang on to Mavic Chen for one more episode until the serial's finale. Because, yeah, I know I said it before, but I will be very surprised if Mavic Chen survives all this.
I think killing them all right then and there is probably a bit too easy for the Daleks. They need to come up with a plan that's more complicated than that.
Yes, that's true.
Sara Kingler has made its way back to the TARDIS. They're looking for the Doctor now that they've realized they've lost him.
Yes.
But the TARDIS is closed and locked. Sarah says that they need to get to the Dalek City to stop the Daleks' master plan, but Steven wants to keep searching the jungle for the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about what to do for a minute. He ends up agreeing to go to the city when Sarah points out that the Doctor's probably already in the city.
That's a good point.
They make their way through the jungle. She asks him to show her how the impulse compass works, but he doesn't think that this is like an appropriate time for a lesson.
Bro, like, how complicated is this thing?
Yeah, seriously.
Is there just like a needle that you follow?
She basically says that, like, if something happened to him, she'd have to find her way to the city herself.
A valid
So
point.
she needs to know how to use it.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Oh, you're so cheerful, aren't you?
Huh. Sarcasm, Steven. Really?
yeah, not the time, dude.
She kind of has a point.
Yeah. We get a brief interlude with a couple of Daleks where we learn that the Master Plan Club members have all been detained and they're going to get destroyed along with the Dalek head Q when their plan gets put into motion.
There we go.
And also it's time for the countdown to start.
Oh, and nothing a Dalek likes more than counting down, except perhaps exterminating people.
I wonder if there's like a special Dalek that has, you know, some kind of like number ticker on the end of its arm. It's like Dalek Carl's best friend.
Yes.
That Dalek's in charge of countdowns.
I love it.
We cut back to Sara Kingler, which seems to be hitting some rough waters as they overlook the Dalek City spaceship parking lot, which is basically full of all of the ships of the Galactic Council. Sarah wants to head into the city, but Steven wants to make a plan first.
We frequently compare this show to Dungeons and Dragons, and this moment is no exception.
Sarah's just like,
Oh, for heaven's sake, we'll go carefully. Look, Stephen, just because the Doctor isn't here, don't think that you're the only one who can outwit the Daleks.
I'm kind of with her on that.
yeah, and like time is of the essence here, basically.
Yeah. There's a
So
countdown.
they start heading toward the city. We cut to a few minutes later. They're now in the city, which of course consists of corridors and doorways. And
Yes,
that's
corridors and corridor doors.
that's pretty much all Dalek cities are, is corridors and corridor doors and rooms.
Well, what more do you need?
So they're going up and down the corridors. They're going through the big round corridor doors. And the city seems very empty. They haven't seen any Daleks, and they don't know why not.
Mm-hmm.
They make their way to the control room, which is also empty of Daleks. It does contain the Dalek time machine. So Sarah has the idea that maybe they should use it to go warn Earth, but neither of them actually know how to control it.
Huh. I'm a little surprised that it's just hanging out in there. I do think that somehow they're in the wrong time period or something like that, but that doesn't explain the time machine. Guess we'll find out.
They come up with a plan to basically lock themselves in the Dalek time machine until the Daleks let the Doctor come to it, and then he can control it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that might work out. That's one of those things where I think that the Dungeon Master is kind of like, well, I think you're making some assumptions here.
Yeah. Thinking internally, that's probably going to be a pretty high difficulty check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure I fully understood the plan. I wondered if maybe they were just like looking for an excuse to lock themselves together in the Dalek time machine for a while.
Oh, I see. Well, time can fly for more reasons than just time travel.
Before they head in, Sarah sees the loudspeaker control on the wall and starts operating it.
This is Sarah Kingdom of Space Security. Send the doctor to the control room.
Well, that's one way to get the doctor to arrive in the control room, I guess.
Yeah. We cut to the cell that is holding all of the Dalek Master Plan Club members, and Salation is worried that this might be another trick of Mavic Chen's, but Chen insists that it's not, and he doesn't know why they're all here being held captive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the dude literally just got done telling everyone else about how he's kind of a big deal.
Uh-huh.
And kind of BFFs with the Daleks. And now he's like, I don't know, guys. I just can't explain what we're doing here.
They hear Sarah Kingdom's announcement, and somehow they're able to respond, because Salation says,
Through the treachery of Chen, we have been imprisoned.
Yeah, I guess he's trying to appeal to their better nature.
yeah, he
Sure,
asks
why not?
He asks them to release them all. Steven thinks that maybe they should go help them and go release them. Sarah thinks it might be a trick.
Yeah.
But Steven points out that if there were any Daleks like still around, they would have arrived in the control room by now. And he also thinks that maybe the Doctor is also being held captive with the Master Plan Club.
Okay, I mean, worth a shot. We'll see how this works out.
The two of them find the conference room, but there aren't any Master Plan Club members there, so they keep searching. They do find the cell that they're all locked in pretty quickly and easily, but of course the Doctor is not locked in the cell with them.
Well, so much for my theory about them being in a different point in time.
Yeah, it was a good theory, though.
Oh, thank you, God. You're very kind.
Steven apparently doesn't want to let them out now. Now he thinks that they're going to go rejoin the Daleks, but they explain that the Daleks betrayed them and locked them up, and that they totally all hate the Daleks now, too.
Yeah, I'm not sure that makes them allies.
Yeah. Steven tells them that the Daleks have already left Kemble, so the only hope anyone has if they don't want their home galaxies to get fucked is to go warn them, but the council members all want to organize forces to try to find and stop the Daleks.
Cool.
Steven does let them out of the cell, and Mavic Chen tells Space Security Agent Kingdom that he'll see that she's justly rewarded.
Oh man, I think she's got his just rewards right here. And she pats her laser gun.
Uh-huh. Stara Kingler has returned to their parking lot overlook viewpoint. They're watching the various council members depart on their various spaceships, and Chen is one of the last ones to leave, but as soon as his ship, the Spar, takes off, it explodes.
Oh, well, dang. Rip to Mavic Chen.
Sarah and Steven are both basically like, well, fuck, he can't go warn Earth if he's exploded. Guess we'd better go find the Doctor.
Yep.
And they head into the jungle.
And then we get words on the screen saying...
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Almost. So they're making their way through the jungle, they have to hide from a Dalek that rolls past, which surprises them because they thought the Daleks had left the planet.
Yeah.
They decide to follow it, and, like, secretly and stuff. And it leads them to the entrance to a super secret underground Dalek base in a mountain.
Awesome. I'm just going to assume that the entrance is shaped like a skull. You don't have to tell me if it is or not. I'm just going to picture it that way anyway.
Nice. They start to put together that the council representatives have all left now. The doctor's nowhere to be seen. It's basically up to the two of them to stop things, or Earth's going to be invaded.
Yep.
And just then, Mavic Chen says,
Certainly. Thanks to you.
Man, this guy. Well, I guess, I retract my rip, Mavic Chen. And I think now is time for him to get ripped.
You can, but you're dead.
Not yet, my innocent one. Though I'm delighted my pyrotechnical display impressed you. No, I am alive. And soon shall be master of the universe.
Yeah, alright, as much as this guy is a jerk and a villain, I like his style.
yeah, he does have good style. He pulls a gun on Stara Kingler and forces them to lead the way down into the Dalek base. And as they head into it, the words, next episode, Destruction of Time, appear on screen.
Nice. Well, sounds like old Billy Hartnell got a day off.
Yeah, I didn't look into specifically why, but yeah, I think he's probably on holiday that week.
Alrighty. Good for him. I know he's sort of an elderly gentleman.
Yeah.
And of course we know he was not in the best of health, so I'm glad he got a day off to rest.
So, yeah.
Yeah, kind of an interesting episode. Always like the Dalek Master Plan Club. Mavic Chen, if we choose to overlook the egregious yellow face that's going on, he's sort of an over-the-top pulpy villain, so kind of enjoy at least that part of his character. And yeah, who doesn't like a good secret evil base?
And yeah, the guy who plays Mavic Chen, I think his name is Kevin Stoney, if I remember right. And again, aside from the yellow-facedness of his performance, he does a good job. He really sells like the over-the-top villainness of it.
Well, cool. This time for real, this time it seems like we're heading into a grand finale. We'll see. I mean, I think we can trust our math. I think this next one's going to be the last one. The Death of Time sounds fantastic.
Yeah, Destruction.
Very much looking forward to it. No, you're right. Okay.
Still sounds fantastic.
Yes, love it. Do you have any other notes for our listeners?
No, I think that's it.
Cool. In that case, we would like to thank Circuit 23 for the music that he composed for us. You can find his album Mens Vermis on Bandcamp, and you can find his other music on SoundCloud. See our show notes for links, and you can email him at circuit.23@gmail.com to tell him how much you love the songs the music that he made for us. Thank you, Kyle, for watching Doctor Who and telling me all about it.
And thank you, Benny, for listening to me talk all about Doctor Who.
And thank you, listeners, for listening to me listen to Kyle talk about Doctor Who. We'd love to hear from you, so feel free to email us at thedoctorswatcher@gmail.com.
And don't forget to rate and review and tell your friends.
Yes, and we obviously, as you can tell, we love getting reviews. It helps the algorithm if you leave them on Apple Podcasts, but if you try to hide them on obscure podcast sites, we might find those as well, and we are grateful for those. And we're grateful for all feedback, whether that's on email, whether that's reviews. If you want to reach out to us on the socials, much appreciated. Much appreciated.
Indeed.
All right. Well, in 2 weeks, we will see you for the destruction of time.
Yeah, with the title like that, maybe it's going to be the last episode.
Well, we'll find out next time on The Doctor's Watcher. Bye.
There has been so much time wasted through the folly of the representative from Earth. Surely it is only right that on his return he be removed from this council.
But without him there will be no terranium.
The Daleks have assured us that they will recapture the core of the Time Destructor.
Then we do not need Marvick Chen.
Exactly. He no longer merits a place on this galactic council. I call for a censure motion.